The Homecoming Project is a nonprofit organization located here in Bel Air, and it serves as a halfway house for women who are recovering from drug and alcohol abuse. This house is designed to strengthen and empower these women for their return to society. Join us in the next 30 minutes as we hear their stories of recovery. I'm Christy Breslin, and this is Harford MagaScene. Caitlin Shepard is the executive director here at the Homecoming Project, and she's here to tell us all about what they do and her new position here. Hi, Caitlin.
Hi, Christy.
Now, Caitlin, tell me about Homecoming Project. What are you all about? What's your mission?
So the mission of Homecoming Project is to provide supportive housing for women in recovery from homelessness and substance abuse in a supportive residential environment. And really, what that means is we have women that come in that have drug and alcohol problems, and we help them to build a foundation in recovery. They live here for about a year, and they learn to develop the tools and coping skills that they need to recover from their disease and to live fulfilling lives from then forward.
Now, you have taken over as executive director recently. Tell us about that.
That's a huge deal. It's a really big deal to me. I got hired here in 2015, and which that by itself was a really big deal for me. I'm a graduate of the program. So when Robin Keener, who is the founder of Homecoming, called me and asked if I was interested in working here, it was very honoring to be asked that. And this program gave a lot to me, and it helped me a lot in my life. So to be able to come in and work as the program manager at that time meant a lot. And I was able to help other women that were in the same position that I was in. And as I worked here for a little while, Robin actually ended up getting sick, and she was diagnosed with cancer. And I picked up more responsibilities while she was dealing with that. And we decided in the past year or so that it was time for me to move into the position of executive director. So to be trusted with that kind of role and to be given that responsibility is a huge honor for me, because Robin Keener specifically has helped me so much in my life. So to be able to do my best to try and fill her shoes and to continue her mission through this house is huge. And she's still involved in the program, and I talk to her on the phone every day. She helps me learn how to do this stuff, learning about running a nonprofit, and learning how to keep the program running and training the people that are taking my place. So it's been a pretty eventful year, to say the least, because then COVID happened.
Right.
But so it's been a lot all at one time, but it's all really exciting stuff. And the community that's around Homecoming has really been helping me and been supportive of me as well, which I have the most gratitude for, and I really appreciate.
You mentioned COVID. It's had an impact on all of us. How has it affected you here at the house?
It was a lot to deal with at first, as I'm sure it was with everybody else. We had to very quickly figure out how to restructure everything, how to keep the women in the house safe. Are they going to keep working and things like that? And most of the residents were working in grocery stores or convenience stores and things like that. So they still had their jobs. So we had to come up with protocols and what to do to keep everyone safe when they were coming and going from the house. Unfortunately, all the residents were not able to continue to go to 12-step meetings in the community. We weren't able to have volunteers come into the house, which that's a huge part of the program here. So we tried to keep things as similar to our regular structure and routine as possible. So Stephanie, the program manager, and we were coming in as often as we could, kind of taking turns. So we were still seeing the residents every day and making sure they were doing well and that they were receiving the services that comes with being here. And we were able to get a laptop and get some things hooked up for Zoom, which is not ideal, but I'm so incredibly grateful for that platform and that it exists. 12-step communities popped up on Zoom immediately, so all of the residents were able to continue going to meetings. They were able to keep meeting people in the community, even though it was through a computer. They didn't have to stop going to individual therapy or group therapy. So that was really great that they were able to continue doing the things that are really important to get that foundation in recovery here. But there really was this huge missing component of the socialization part.
Oh, absolutely. Now, Caitlin, let me ask you this. Homecoming Project is very unique. So how many women can you house, and how does someone get into this specific program?
Sure, so we can house up to 8 women at a time and a house manager. And in order to get into the program, you would call the office, and our program manager, Stephanie, will conduct interviews with all the women that are interested in being here. So if anyone is interested in learning about the program or wants to set up an interview, they would call Stephanie and talk to her, and she has a lot of information about that as well and is glad to talk to anybody that is interested.
Now, Caitlin, from what I understand, to be in the house, there's a lot of rules, there's a lot of prerequisites, and from what I understand, all the women have to be employed. Is that right?
Yes. So the whole point of the program is to teach women how to deal with life on life's terms, how to get back into their community. And some people come in and were working in different places and have had to leave those jobs, or they've lost jobs and haven't been working for a while. And something that we think is really important is to teach each woman how to be independent and take care of themselves. So whether they return to a family or whatever their situation is when they came in here, we want them to be able to be self-supporting and learn how to do that while they are here. So in their first month, they gain jobs within the community, usually within walking distance, right within a mile. We're located in downtown and then Bel Air, so they can walk to a lot of different convenience stores, different shopping centers, things like that. And we help them to learn how to do interviews and get those job skills. So then they have something that they're doing during the day. They're saving money while they're here and learning how to recontribute to society in that way. And as they've been in the program longer, we start looking at what are your long-term goals? Most of them don't want to stay in the positions that they've been in when they got here. So do you want to go back to school? Do you want to get a different kind of job? How to ask managers for raises, things like that.
Now, Caitlin, one thing I did want to ask you about is when we came in here, I was interested in your tattoo. Now, there is a meaning behind that tattoo. Can you talk about it?
Sure. So the numbers on the bottom of this tattoo are the Roman numerals for 417. And that is a page out of the Alcoholics Anonymous book about acceptance. So it talks about acceptance being the answer to all of our problems, and that it's not really on what needs to be changed in everything around me, it's on what needs to be changed in myself and in my attitudes. And that's kind of the motto of Homecoming Project a little bit. We have a room that's called the 417 room. We have it tiled into our pool. So it's kind of this mantra almost of homecoming, and we have residents read out of that book when they're having a hard time with something. We all do it. So a couple of the alumni that went through the program and myself went and actually got the tattoo put on us. Yeah.
Caitlin, thanks again. Congratulations on your new position. The homecoming is definitely in good hands. Really excited to be here, and thank you again for sharing your story.
Thank you so much for coming and allowing us to be a part of your program. We really appreciate it, and it was great talking to you.
Oh, absolutely. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. So much more coming up, all about the programs and services that homecoming has to offer. Stay with us. Stephanie DeBella is the program manager here at Homecoming Project. She's here to tell us about her experience, looking lovely in yellow today. Stephanie, thank you so much for being with us.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for being here.
Now, Stephanie, I know that there's a lot of programs, a lot of services, a big variety of both. So can you elaborate on exactly what is offered here at Homecoming?
So one of the main things that we do offer here is case management. So when people first come into recovery, there's a lot going on. A lot of mess has been made, throughout their lives. And when you're early in recovery, that can be really overwhelming and difficult to deal with, especially, when you're looking to face those things on your own. So what we do is help residents, navigate through that kind of stuff. And that way, instead of turning to their old coping mechanisms like using or drinking, we can provide them with healthier ones to implement in their lives. So what case management looks like then is, first and foremost, me helping them if they need health insurance and making sure they keep up with mental health or physical health appointments. If there's any extraneous legal issues, we help them work through that. We help them with vocational skills, so getting a job, applying to jobs, making a resume, things like that. And some other stuff we do is like goal setting, make sure they have a list of realistic goals and the steps that it takes to achieve them. Getting a hold of any like identification information that they don't have, like a license or a social security card or a birth certificate. And we also help them, learn more about a 12-step fellowship and what it means to participate in one. So like AA or NA. And just really just there for them to help them, navigate their life in sobriety. So each week I sit down with each resident individually and go over those things. And as they progress here, it's a little less outlined and structured as to what we do in case management. So that way they can bring stuff that they want to work on to me and goals that they have to me. And so that we can help them achieve those.
It seems like there's just so much. Now, let me ask you this. You house 8 women. How does somebody get into homecoming? I mean, what are the requirements that need to be met?
So really anyone who is an adult woman who has a primary diagnosis of substance abuse is eligible to come to homecoming. So what we try to do is make sure any potential residents are, stable, like medically, before they would come here, so that they've been successfully detoxed from any of the drugs that they were using. So after that, it's just, for anybody who is interested or has a loved one who may be interested, they can feel free to look at our website or give us a call and we can give them any more information. There is an interview process that I conduct. So what that looks like is either I meet with the individual either in person or over the phone. I get a little bit more information about them and their history and what they're looking for in recovery. And then I review the interview with Caitlin and we usually get back to them within 24 hours and then we go from there.
Well, Stephanie, how did you begin with Homecoming Project and what's the experience been like for you?
So I first came to Homecoming a little over 3.5 years ago as a resident. And it was really, it was the best decision essentially that was made for me. When I first came, I thought that the length of commitment here and the structure, it was very difficult to accept. And when I looked at it, a year was nothing in comparison to all the years that I spent drinking and using, and it was certainly nothing compared to the rest of my life. And, the sacrifices that I made to be a part of this program, such as not being able to have my car or cell phone, they really paled in comparison to the sacrifices and things that I gave away to continue to drink and use. So I got back, everything that I gave away to be here like tenfold. And my time spent as a resident and then as house manager really cultivated my passion for working with others and helping others and being of service. So when I had a year clean and sober, I started working in treatment in Harford County. And then about 1.5 years ago, Robin and Caitlin gave me the opportunity to be program manager here. And, I can't really begin to describe that opportunity. It means the world to me to be able to give back what was so freely given to me and to be able to work closely with Robin and Caitlin, who are like 2 of my personal heroes, and to continue to learn from them. It's really invaluable.
Now, you said you hit rock bottom, but you've changed. So coming to Homecoming Project, tell me, was it worth it?
Oh, it was absolutely worth it. If I can look back now when I was a resident and I told myself that that was a job that I never wanted to have, but I have it now, and it's completely enriching, even though, sometimes it may be difficult. And over the past year, I feel like everybody's been put in a difficult position, but Because of this program, I have learned to set goals for myself and actually be able to achieve them. So in the past year, I applied to grad school and I got in. So this fall will be my second year in Maryland, University of Maryland School of Social Work. The past year has been, just doing a lot of things that I didn't think were possible, before I came to this program and before I was a person in recovery.
Stephanie, thank you so much. It appears that these residents are in very good hands.
Thank you.
Well, coming up, we're going to hear more about the program, what's it like to be in the program, and what's it like when you leave the program. All that straight ahead. Zoe Hudson is the house manager and one of the alumni here at Homecoming Project. She's going to tell us a little bit about what it's like to be in the house, to be in recovery, and what does it mean to be a house manager. Hi, Zoe.
Hi, Christy.
Now, Zoe, at this point, you are the house manager. What exactly does that mean? Like, what do your duties entail?
Yeah, so as house manager of Homecoming Project, it's my responsibility to make sure that the residents are safe. So I'm very interactive with all of them. I make sure that they're going to groups, that they're following rules. I'm holding people accountable, just like I learned as a resident here.
Zoe, what first brought you to the program? Why are you here?
It's actually kind of funny because I'm not from Maryland, and my addiction brought me up here. And I came up here with an ex, and then I got into treatment program, and they actually suggested that I go here to Homecoming. And I was really apprehensive about it at first because, a year-long program and everything. But, they said something that has always stuck with me, and it was that at Homecoming, they treat the whole person. And I knew that I had deeper rooted issues than just my addiction because that's what it feeds off of, So yeah, I came here, and that's what brought me here is the fact that they really do treat the whole person, and they help you to build a better life for yourself. So
now I know that the rules are strict, and there's a lot of rules that you need to abide by. How have you handled that?
Yeah, so well, the big one is no guys.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh.
Not talking to any guys. Of course, not having a cell phone. No car. Things like that. We also have day-to-day rules. So the residents do chores every day. We actually keep up with the outside as well, the lawn care and everything. And there's just little tidbits. It would take so long to explain so many of them. There's so many of them, so.
Well, it seems like everything and all the rules that you've had to abide by and everything that you've done, it's working for you.
Absolutely. The purpose behind all of them is really just to show everybody what recovery is about, right? It's holding yourself accountable, being honest, being open-minded, and all of the rules that are here are structured around that. Right, so it's a little shocking to girls who first come in because, like I said, they're not used to it. But once they go through the program, you just see them blossom into these responsible, productive young women of society, and it's really a really, really beautiful thing to see.
Aww. Now, what advice would you give to somebody who's struggling with substance abuse right now?
The best advice that I have is to reach out for help. There's so much help around here, and just reach out. Everybody that I've come across in this house has hit a really, really hard rock bottom. And there's nothing that anyone could say to one of us that are in the program that would scare us away. And all we want to do is just grab that hand that you reach out to us and pull you up, because we've all been there.
Zoe, thank you so much. Thank you for what you're doing for the Homecoming Project, and especially thank you for being so brave to share your story. That really takes a lot of courage.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, it takes a village to make a house like this so successful. Now, how has Harford County government gotten involved? All those details straight ahead. Len Parrish is here, and he is the Director of Community and Economic Development. Len, thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you for taking the time to come out, and we're excited to hear about your involvement with this wonderful organization.
Hi, Christy. Thank you so much for having me.
Len, I know you're a very busy man, but this is an organization that's important to you. So when did you become involved, and why did you become involved?
So I got involved with Homecoming Project through Robin Keener, who was their executive director, probably from the beginning. She was actually my grandmother's upstairs neighbor, and really took care of my grandmother and helped her with anything that she needed. And Robin kind of introduced me to what the Homecoming Project was and the good that it did in our community. And I was happy to get involved when she finally asked me if I would help them out. So Robin really brought me into the fold and told me all about the organization.
Time has gone by, things have changed so much, but this organization is still very special to you. So why do you stay involved?
So I would say I'm still involved, and one of the things that makes me stay involved is really the success of the Homecoming Project. It's just such a great organization. I was introduced to it, in that helping women through recovery, not just the organization helping each of the women as they go through, but really the supports that it lends way beyond that. So it's really giving them the ability to deal with any triggers that come along or anything like that, and coping mechanisms and skills to live not just while they're spending the time here in the house, but far beyond. So once they get out into the public, and that's really where I like to get involved in that side of things, is as they get more out into the public. My position within county government, some of the other things I do, actually has an ability to help some people, whether that's with housing or transportation or jobs or any of those things. That's something that we really love, the buildup of our community and the good that Homecoming is doing within the community.
Now let me ask you this, as Director of Community and Economic Development, how do you see Homecoming providing a necessary service to the community? I mean, you do believe this is absolutely necessary,
sure.
right?
For sure, yeah. There's a few ways we could answer that question. For sure, helping any of the women through recovery is really giving them the building blocks that help establish a strong community, and that's the beauty of our department, the Community and Economic Development Department. We're kind of unique in that we do offer all of those services. So housing, transportation, workforce development, all of those things kind of fall under us, and I think those are all really important building blocks of a community. And the stability that Homecoming is able to offer and to teach women as they go through their recovery process really plays a major role in allowing them to reestablish within our community and be great members, helping not just themselves but others around them as well.
Len, I want to ask you, from your vantage point, how big is the alcohol and substance abuse problems here in Harford County?
So it is certainly still an issue that we'd like to address. I think this administration has done a very good job of addressing as much as they can, not just addiction and alcohol, but even mental health. I think mental health services are really important. I think things like the Klein Family Crisis Center that's been open and things like that have really played an important role in trying to address those issues within our community. Certainly still a struggle, certainly with adolescents, still a struggle. So things that maybe we haven't reached everyone that we'd like to reach at this point, but I think we're doing the best we can right now to serve that community and try to help as much as we can.
What would you say to somebody interested in getting involved in the program? Why be involved?
I say take the leap. It's great. You can't go wrong. So whether that's volunteering, helping out around here, I mean, there's all sorts of different events that can be done. There's even just helping around the house with yard work or cooking and cleaning classes. It could just be coming to have dinner with the girls. It's a great experience just to come in and have dinner one night and chat about what you do in your life and kind of just talk to the women about where they've been and what's brought them here today. So absolutely great organization. Most definitely one that I would recommend to anyone who's looking to get involved.
Len, thank you so much again for coming out and again for all of your involvement, and with your busy schedule, taking time out to really help our community and give back really means a lot to us.
Well, and thank you for coming out on behalf of the Board of Directors of Homecoming Project. We really appreciate your support and everything you do for the community as well.
Absolutely. As you know, it takes a village. Well, coming up next, we're going to speak to another alumni who's going to share their story. Stay with us. Sean Partain is alumni here at Homecoming Project. I had the opportunity to talk to Sean for a couple minutes before we started the interview, and what an inspiring story. She is a role model for so many people. She's going to tell you about how you can go from rock bottom to the top of the world. Sean, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Sean, what first brought you to homecoming?
At the time I was 22. I had just turned 23 in treatment, and they had offered me to come to homecoming projects just to further my recovery at that point instead of going home.
Now, what would you say that you have gained from being involved in the program and from all the people that you've met, all the things that you've learned?
At this point, I've been sober for 7 years, and I think that is a direct result of me coming to Homecoming Project because it was my first time going to treatment, first time going to an extended care program after that, and it gave me a really strong foundation in my recovery. I think without doing treatment and then an extended care program, I wouldn't have stayed sober my first time. I was really young. I was extremely naive when it came to like my drug use and my alcohol use, and I had a lot of stressors, and I didn't have like a great foundation. And Homecoming Project really like guided me in my life, and it's still a very strong support in my life even today for me and my son.
Now, tell me about your son, and of course I have to ask about, we have a new addition coming in, so let's talk about that.
So my son was 2 and turned 3 when I was in treatment and with Homecoming Projects, and he was here almost every weekend when I was in the program. I used from the time he was like 8 months old until I went to treatment, and so at that point I was struggling like as a mom, obviously at the end of my use and coming into treatment, and Homecoming really like helped me grow as a parent, and I had a lot of guilt coming in as a parent. I think a lot of people struggle with getting sober and like leaving their children and not being present while they were using. So there's like a lot of guilt like coming back into their lives, and like relearning how to parent.
Sean, you've come such a long way, so inspiring. What does your life look like now?
I'm currently in school for biology at HCC, and Homecoming helps me with that process. And I work for the state. I work in the health department in Bel Air, and I work with pregnant women who are using substances, so I help them kind of in their transition and offering case management. And so that's been really like a great, avenue of my like not only giving back to the community, but like also like I get so much from that role. And I literally just settled on a house, literally coming right here. So that's a big step in my life right now. And then I have my son, my second son, I'm gonna be scheduling a C-section literally next week. So that's what my life looks like right now, in the midst of this crazy year that we just had, so.
Sean, thank you so much. So excited for you, so excited for your son, and of course, the new addition. So I'm sure you'll keep us posted on that, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, as you have seen today, Sean is in recovery. What an inspiring story that she has, and hopefully her story will encourage others to do the same. As you've seen today, recovery is possible here at Homecoming Project with love, assistance, and support from the wonderful staff here. Don't miss out on their upcoming fundraiser. It's September 16th at Water's Edge Event Center. You can learn more about it and, of course, about this wonderful organization at homecomingrecovery.org. I'm Christy Breslin. See you next month on Harford MagaScene.